This is an appropriate point at which to raise, if perhaps not to solve, a problem which has ramifications beyond the scope of the present study. This question is whether the concept of skillful means can be considered entirely as an aspect of a religious method, or whether it is so closely associated with the concepts of insight and emptiness that it has material implications about the way the world is. The question may seem simple, but it is complicated by the fact that the Madhyamika school, in a general way, places a high value upon its own method, while at the same time it is only concerned negatively or critically about the way the world is. In a certain sense, it has to be admitted that the Madhyamikas do not advance a position about the nature of the world, for not to admit this at all would be arbitrarily to misconstrue their account of themselves. On the other hand, it would seem that not everything has yet been said about their manner of not advancing a position, for it is possible both to not advance a position and not to be a Mahayanist or a Madhyamika. Is there perhaps some way of taking seriously their non-advancement of a position, while at the same time indicating how their mode of going about these matters has definite significance? Could there possibly be something about the way things are, which, if different, would have some effect on the way in which the Madhyamikas go about them? To put it another way, granted that they are concerned above all with a certain manner of taking things, is it possible to conceive of anything about the way things are which would make it evidently more appropriate for them to take things differently? Their way of taking things is, after all, not everybody's way of taking things, and it does have something to do with the way in which they understand the nature of experience. As a general question, this matter must be left herewith on the table. The present inquiry does not depend upon its solution. With respect to the more specific question about skillful means, it would be convenient if one could conclude that Mahayana Buddhism in general and Madhyamika method in particular have no implications whatever about the way the world is. It would follow, then, that the concept of skillful means itself is not at all entangled in any such implications. However, it does not seem to be settled beyond further discussion that Mahayana Buddhism and Madhyamika method, positionless though they may be in an important sense, do in fact have no such implications. A shortcut along those lines seems to be unacceptable at present. The problem can also be approached in a different way, namely by distinguishing between the analysis and characterization of experience in terms of dharmas, voidness, etc., as these are explicitly carried out in Buddhism, and discussion or exhortation about the nature of such analyses and concepts. If we look at the matter in this way, it seems fair to maintain that skillful means is about the nature and role of religious language. In other words, skillful means is a kind of clue about the appropriate way to put into operation the religion which one has, that is, in the case of the Mahayanists, Buddhism. Given the detailed exposition made above, it seems right on balance to say that this is mainly what the idea is about. It enables one to pursue the Buddhist analyses in the right place and time, and in the right way. It stops one getting the perfection of insight wrong.